Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aseem Singhal and today I'm going to discuss with you a positional strategy. That means I'm going to hold the trade for a few days, and in this is basically a breakout strategy, and I use two things. I use RENKO charts, so these are the box kind of charts, and to get the perfect entry I will be using on balance volume, which tells me if there is more interest coming in this particular stock or not. So we'll talk about all the rules. We'll see how we are going to take the entry, what is going to be my stop loss, what is going to be a target. But as usual, please subscribe to my channel so that you keep getting such videos. So let's start the video. So let me tell you the strategy using RENKO now. So in this, I use few things. I use obviously the RENKO chart. Apart from the RENKO chart, I also use the exponential moving average, and I will also be using OBV, which is on balance volume. This basically tells me whether the total volume in that particular stock is increasing or decreasing, and I will be telling you as usual about the rules. So basically, what is RENKO? When we talk about RENKO, they are made up of bricks, and we know that the stock market can keep going up and down. But basically what RENKO does is it only creates a brick once the minimum threshold is completed. So I'll be showing you how RENKO will work, but it basically takes care of all the volatility. So if, for example, you have a brick size of 10, but if the market keeps going up and down by 9 or 8 points, it will not make anything. It will wait for at least 10 points to come in a single direction, and only then it will create a brick. So as you know, this RENKO chart technically does not depend on the time, but we should try to have a RENKO chart. In this strategy, we will be doing the RENKO chart on a daily time frame, and we will be putting the bar size. So you always have to put the bar size in RENKO. In this, I will also tell you how to figure out what is the correct bar size for RENKO. And then obviously I will be putting the EMA also. So you can clearly see the difference between the RENKO and the actual chart. In RENKO, whenever there is a trend, it will give you a very good trend because it takes care of all the volatility. In this strategy, I will be using the 10 EMA, an exponential EMA, and why I will be using that is if the RENKO bar is above the 10 EMA, I will buy, and if it's below the 10 EMA, I will sell. But I will be requiring one more confirmation before I take the entry. I will be only taking entry once I get a confirmation from the OBV, which is the on balance volume. So here are the rules. The first thing is if I'm looking for a buying trade, I want the green brick to be above the 10 EMA, and the OBV should be making a new high. It should be making a new high. I'll show you how that new high is done. Once we do that, I can go for an entry. I will place the stop loss 2 bricks below my entry price. And similarly, if I am going for a selling trade, I want the RENKO to be below the 10 EMA, and the OBV should be making a new low. And I will put the stop loss 2 bricks above the current entry price. So that is how I will be trading this strategy. So let's take some examples. Let me first show you the entry and exit points, then I'll go for some examples. So this is how we will be putting the RENKO. So you can see you will see only bricks on your chart. And in this, I'm using United Breweries on a daily time frame where I've put a RENKO of 10. So each brick corresponds to 10 points. Now look at that. When I'm taking the entry, the place when I'm getting the entry, it has broken. The OBV is above its previous high. So clearly OBV is now above its previous high. It's making new highs. That means more money is coming in. More volume is coming in this stock, and at the same time the RENKO is above this EMA, so I can go for this entry and I will put the stop loss as 2 bricks below. So somewhere here this can be my stop loss, and I can at least go for a 1:2 trade. I can even go for a higher trade here because you can see the movement in RENKO can be very good because it takes care of all the volatility. So let's take some examples. Let me first show you actually how the selling trade will happen, and then I will give you some examples of Nifty buying and selling everything. So in this case, if I'm going for a selling trade, I am looking for a red brick. So that's the first thing, I'm looking for a red brick. At the same time, the red brick, when it's formed, I am looking if the OBV is making a new low. So as you can see, this was the previous low. It has made a new low. That means the volume is reducing, and at the same time, the RENKO was below the exponential moving average. So all my conditions are true. I can go for the selling trade here. I can put two or three blocks above. I can put the stop loss, and again you can see it's a very good trade. So this is how we will be trading the strategy. So let's take some trades. I am first giving you bullish examples. I am doing it on a India Wood Real Estate on a daily time frame again. If you see the green candle, the green RENKO here, it's above the EMA line. So my first condition is done. It's a green RENKO, and at the same time, the high of OBV is above the previous high. So this is telling me yes, that it can go off. So I can go for a buying trade. I can put this as my stop loss, and you can see I easily achieved 1:2 risk to reward. Let's take one other example. Again, similar example I'm showing you on Delta Corp on a daily time frame. Again, you can see that this RENKO is above, it's closing above the EMA, and at the same time my OBV is above the previous high, that's showing that more volume is coming in. So I will be going for a buying trade here. Again, I'll be putting this as the stop loss, and again you can see it's a massive trade, 1:4, 1:5 kind of a trade. Generally I will exit at 3x only. So 1:2 or 1:3, that is when I will exit. Okay, if you want a little more confirmation before taking the entry, so technically speaking, I would have got the entry here only. I would have got the entry here only, because you can see that at this point of time it was a green RENKO, and it was making a the OBV was higher than the previous high, and we were above the EMA. But you can see that there was a strong resistance here. There was a strong resistance here. So what I will do is I will wait for the RENKO to break that. So once it breaks somewhere here, this is where I will go for the entry. This will just give me a more confirmation with this as a stop loss, and you can see that it has given me a great profits. So this is how I will be doing my entries. Again, I'm showing you one more example, similar example, where even if I get the entry earlier, right? Even if I get the entry earlier here, I will wait, because I want the RENKO to break the previous important levels where it has got resistance. Once it breaks that, maybe 1 or 2 blocks above, I will go for the entry here. I will put the same level as my stop loss, and again I can go for a 1:2 or a 1:3 trade. But make sure that before you do the entry, the OBV should definitely be above its previous swings. So that is how I will be trading this strategy on the bullish side. Let me show you some examples on the bearish side now. So now what I'm looking for is a red RENKO, but apart from the red RENKO, I want the OBV to be lower than the previous level. So it's lower than the previous level, and it is below the EMA. So I can go for the entry here. I can put my stop loss 2 or 3 bricks above, and I can go for a 1:2 trade, and you can see I've got a good profit. Let's see one more example. I am showing again Adani Port Special here. If you see here, I've got an entry somewhere here. The value of OBV is not very clear, but you can see that the previous swing, you can consider this to be the previous swing. So I've taken the entry when OBV has actually really gone down, and again I've put 2 levels up my stop loss, and I'm going for a 1:3 trade. But as you can see here, this was not a great trade, because a clean pivot was not formed, a clean pullback was not done on OBV. If this was something like this, then it would have been a perfect trade, because you can see the Adani Port Special actually went up pretty high, right? So we would probably be skipping this kind of a trade. Let me give you one last example before we go and see live examples also. So in this, again, I'm using the same idea. If I can see a support happening on the charts using the RENKO, so I will wait for the RENKO to break it. So this is where it breaks it. At the same time, the OBV has broken all the previous lows also, and it is below the EMA. This is a great time to enter. So I'll enter here. I'll put my stop loss somewhere here. And again, you can see a 1:3 or a 1:4 kind of a trade. So this is how I will be using this strategy. Let me show you one last example before I show you Nifty. Similar example, this was a previous very important level. So I'm waiting for RENKO to break it by at least 2 blocks. So I've got the entry here. Why? Because my OBV is also below all the previous swings. So I've taken the entry. Again, I'll put the stop loss as those at that level only. And you can see that market kept going down. So this is how I will be trading this strategy. Let me now show you on Nifty also. So before I show it to you on Nifty, let me tell you how to make this indicator. So the normal candles is like this. I'm doing it on a daily time frame. This is the normal candlestick. And if I convert it to RENKO, so all I have to do is I'll click on this, and I can click RENKO. So once I click this, this is the kind of thing that will come up. And I've added the 10 EMA. I've added the 10 EMA. Let me also tell you how will I change the settings of this. So I'm just double clicking on it and I'm making it traditional, and I'll make the box size around 30 points in Nifty. So I've made it 30. So this is how it will look like. And I've added the OBV. So how do you add the OBV? Just click here on balance volume. And this is the indicator. I have not changed any setting, any default settings. So now let's see if we get any trades. Let's see if we get any trades. Again, the first thing we are looking for, if we are looking for a selling trade or a buying trade, let's take a buying trade first, is that it should break the previous levels. So as you can see, the RENKO was green here. The RENKO was green. But where will I take the entry? I want to take the entry when my OBV breaks at least this, this and this at the 3 levels, which is somewhere here. So this is where it tries to break it. That means on this candle, I can go for a buying trade because all my conditions are true. I have a green RENKO. It's above the 20, the EMA, the 10 EMA, and the OBV has broken previous 2 or 3 highs. I can go for an entry here. I can put this as my stop loss, and I can go for a 1:2 or 1:3 trade, and you can see actually it kept going up. It kept going up, right? So this was a good trade. Let me try to show you one selling trade also. Okay, I can see a good selling trade here. So see this. If you notice here, this was an important level which I want now RENKO to break, It has broken it here, and at the same time, this has broken the previous low also. So all my conditions are true, and it is below the EMA line also. So I can go for an entry here, can put this 2 blocks as my stop loss, and this can be my target. Again, 1:2 target, right? So now how will we know what should be the brick size? That will depend on our risk management. So in Nifty, I have put 30 points because if you know, currently the value of Nifty is, the lot size is 50, right? So if I do 30 points as my risk and I'm using 2 blocks, so the total risk that I'm taking is 3,000 rupees. This is the total risk that I'm taking is 3,000 rupees. Now, generally, this is the kind of risk that I'm willing to take when I'm trading with Nifty. So I would be using this idea just to figure out what is my average size of the brick. Other way around is, let me show you one more idea how to figure out what should be the brick size. So I'm going back to candles. What you can do is you can find out the high and the lows. So if you see here, the high to the low is around 100 points, right? Is around 100 points here also. So about 100 points is the general high to the low. So what I can choose is about half or 1/3. So about 50 points or 35 points is what the brick size can be. So we can do on that also to figure out what should be my brick size. So we saw how RENKO charts are important and how they help us to get a good entry, especially for positional trades. But let me remind you here that since we are taking the trades at the closing basis, there can be a big possibility that you suddenly have a lot of RENKO charts coming in really together. So that is why whenever you're trading RENKO, especially, you should have a very hard stop loss. So in our case, let's say we have put 2 blocks as a stop loss, but it is possible that by the end of the day, we suddenly get 3 or 4 red blocks together. So make sure that we do not get into such issues. We should have a very hard stop loss of, let's say, 3 blocks or 4 blocks. That means if even a wick comes there, we will anyway exit. So that's the big issue with RENKO, but we should always be mindful of that. So anyway, I hope you like this strategy, do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.